figured out. 44. Ooh, this is an interesting question. Let me just switch this over to the D&D stream. It should be live now. There we go. Okay. Sweet. So, question of the evening. An interesting question to get on a birthday. If you had a clock that would count down to any one event of your choosing, what event would you want it to count down to?
Okay. Would want it to count down to Booth's getting out of my life.
Interesting.
That's exactly what I would want. I would want the clock to count down, and when it hit 0, he would just leave me alone forever.
All right. Anybody else got one right off the bat?
Mix's death.
Mix's death. Feeling a lot of brotherly love between you guys. You like each other or something?
It's forced. Magically.
All right.
My clock would count down till the moment I find my parents and kill those child-selling bastards.
All right.
Jinku's would be when she gets to see her family again, when they would allow her to come back to them.
Some couple very different family meetings. And Zara.
Honestly, just probably her own death.
Okay. That's a reasonable request. All right. Good stuff. Anybody want to give us a quick little summary of the shenanigans we got up to last time?
We routed the Knolls in, what was that, Cliffside is what that place was called?
Undercliff?
Undercliff.
Undercliff, that's it. Routed the Knolls and stuff in Undercliff. Found a little bit of information there, I think. Went back. Oh, there was one thing about, like, the eldest having fallen or something that really bugs me that I haven't figured out yet. And then there's we went and told the family. He didn't really appreciate our proof, but that's his choice. We proved it to him, so we can't be said we're liars. And then we started. We got enough money for everything, I think. And then we started ordering guild services.
Yep. Yep, you got a good number of those coming around making repairs.
We went to the opera.
Oh yes, and the opera of
Except for
Tiamat.
Biz.
And the children really enjoyed my Colosseum stories, especially the disembowelment parts.
Yep. There was one other person you visited as well, of note.
Well,
The tower.
Oh yeah, we were.
Didn't we go to like 2 different places?
There were 2 different factions that contacted you. Harper's was the opera.
Yeah, Harper's talked to Jinku.
Yep, through Mert. Yep.
And the Grey Force, like, recruited us as a whole, I think.
Yes.
And we
Through the Black Staff.
were gonna go visit. Was it like a wizard up on a cliff? But we decided to. Wait, no, that was for the other one.
Here, I'll give you the deets on the quests that
It's
you
been a
got.
really long 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we did a lot last session.
We did do a lot last session.
There was a lot of shit that happened, yeah.
A lot of names.
A lot of names, a lot of places, a lot of requests. So the Force Grey, Vajra Safar, Blackstaff, had a request of you to just kind of prove yourself to them, your usefulness, which was that there was a monk named Hlam who lives in a cave way up on the side of Mount Waterdeep, who kind of is attuned to things and kind of keeps his ear out for threats of the city. And so she wants you to go and meet with him and see if he has any details about any threats that are incoming to Waterdeep. And then the Harpers, through Mert, told you about an old woman named Uza who has a bookstore in the Trades Ward who claims that she's trapped a monster in her shop and fears for the welfare of her books and her cat. And the City Watch doesn't want to help because she has a tendency to be kind of a tall tale teller, crazy old lady type thing. But the Harpers owed her a favor, and so they want to send someone from the Harpers in to try to figure out what's going on. So a couple different places you can go.
I'm very interested in both of these, but I would be, I think, most interested in taking a look at this bookstore first. Bookstores are always a fun place.
Nix wants to go to the bookstore. He loves arcane books.
You
He
two
likes
just
finding new
love
ways to
spending
refute-
time together, don't you?
No, he just likes finding new ways to refute people. So
I absolutely enjoy my time with Mix Blossom. Every minute of it I spend thinking about how to get away from him, but as soon as I'm gone, I just keep thinking about how to get away from him.
All right. Well, if you're gonna go, if you've all decided to go to the bookshop, the details that you had from Mert was that Uza Solozef, who's the old woman who runs the place, she can be found at a tavern called Felzun's Folly, which is on the corner of Sorn Street and Salabar Street. And let me get that for you here. Do I have the right second? Oh, that's not the right section. Why am I not finding the right section? Why is not Fantasy Grounds not opening up the map? One second.
is there a place where I can find out what I can do with alchemy? Like what I can make? If I have the right books.
Like just like what you know, or like
If I have the right book to make things, I'm just looking for. Like we already know I can make a roofie. I mean, basically I could go to a whorehouse and have a lot of fun. But what else can I do?
I mean, you probably have like a fairly general knowledge of like alchemy stuff and kind of maybe basic, low level potions and things like that, I would assume. Here we go. Here's the map I was looking for. Let me share this to you here. And let me get a location pin for you here as well. Thought I already had one for this, but I guess I do not. Here it is. Alright, you should see a little green pin at the corner of Selbar and Sorn Street there, which is Felzoon's Folly. So her shop itself is on Sorn Street, so it's not too far away from this. But that is where she was last seen sobbing into a tankard over, whatever business had happened at her house. So...
Off we go then.
All right. So you guys make your way down to the Trades Ward. It's a pretty easy jaunt for you all, since it's pretty much just straight down the high road. It's just a little bit off once you get down there. You make your way up River Street and see the Great River Gate to the eastern side up ahead of you, but turn off just before into a kind of a windy little side area, and come across Felzoon's Folly, a small tavern. It seems there's a kind of an abundance of taverns in this area as you're looking around you here. And stepping into the tavern here, it isn't too hard to make out Uza. Among the various patrons that are there, which is, it's maybe around, late morning, midday, so it's not too busy here right now. But fairly loudly sobbing in a booth in the corner, you see a pretty short old woman, and you can't see her face because she's got them face down in her hands, and there is a fairly large tankard sitting next to her that seems to already be empty. And she seems to not notice you as you come in. She's too deep in her sorrows, it seems. Bartender kind of looks up at you and kind of waves his hand friendly from behind the bar.
I'll go sit by her.
Okay. On the same side of the booth or across the booth?
Same side.
Same side. All right. So you head over to the booth and kind of try to scoot onto the booth next to her. There's a good bit of space, enough space for you to fit in without having to push at all. And you find yourself sitting right next to this old woman. The empty tankard is basically right in front of your face. She doesn't seem to have noticed you. She continues to kind of let out these loud sobs into her arms. She doesn't really seem to give too much of a care to everything around her. She's too lost in her sadness.
There, friend. What seems to be the cause of your sorrows this day? It is too beautiful outside for someone such as you to be shedding tears in here.
You hear a couple sniffles from between her arms here, and you see her head kind of lift a little bit and turn to the side. She says, "Oh, what? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I haven't disturbed anyone. My poor cat, my books, my store. There's something terrible and going on in there. Nobody will believe me. It seems I told a tall tale one too many times, and nobody seems to take me seriously. But it's real this time, I swear. A horrible beast. I don't know where it came from, but it somehow got into my store, and I fear for my cat's life and the books. You know how this the story goes, a bull in a shop. My poor books, they're probably trampled and torn to pieces. How will I ever recover?
Lost knowledge is a travesty. I could not see someone like you lying about something like that. Perhaps we can go take a look.
Oh! Really? You believe me?
I believe that you believe there is something wrong in your bookstore, and I believe that my friends and I can take a look and help ensure that there is nothing in your bookstore.
Oh, that is very kind. Very kind. Here, let me get you something to help here. And so she kind of digs through purse here and pulls out a small kind of somewhat rusty key ring that has 2 keys on it, to a front and to a back door of her shop. And she hands these to you, and describes her shop as, just up the street on Soren Street. And that you can't miss it. It's got a, in the window of the bookstore, there's evidently a little stuffed cat as well that she kind of has as a mascot of sorts that's patterned after her actual cat. And after she hands you these keys, she seems to be lost a little in thought again at the things that may be happening to her store, and kind of starts crying again after she hands these to you, kind of in a state of worry.
Thank you. I will treat your store with the utmost respect, and we will ensure that it is safe. Do you promise to stay here until we return?
Yes. I have nowhere else to go.
Of course. Is this like an inn and tavern, or is it just a tavern? Is there rooms here?
This one is just like a small tavern, but it seems like the owner stays open most of the time, and he's used to having people that kind of just hang around or just drink their cares away.
As soon as the door is open, our booth's gonna run in, and our Mix is gonna run in and start looking for books of alchemy so he can better equip his little shop of horrors.
Or have you guys headed to the shop already?
I have nothing else to do here besides tell the group what I've learned.
Okay. All right. So you make your way up the street, and you find Uza's bookshop here. And let me see here. One second here. Let me get the details of this place up here. 1 second. Okay, here we go. So, you see the sign for the shop here. Uza's bookstore seems to be called General Nonsense from the sign over the door. And are you guys going in the front door or in the back? She did give you a key to both.
I may as well go and
Split up on this?
What was that, Blossom?
Should we split up on this? Some in the front, some in the back?
You could.
Sure. This doesn't sound like a bad idea. Let's do it.
Okay. So
DP
who's
is
going in the
never a bad idea.
Mix just wants to go into the door.
front? So Mix will probably go in the front.
Okay. All right. So you kind of split around this building here. You kind of make which ones of you are going in the back?
I'll go in the back.
Okay. So Zara and
I'll go with Zyara.
Jinku. Okay, so Zara and Jinku head around the back. Zara and Jinku, when you guys get around to the back, you see that one of the back windows of the place, and like all the windows that you've seen, like both in the front and on the back, are pretty decently sized windows. But this appears to have a quite large hole through it. One of the windows, so one of the panes is just gone, and it seems to have been like burst inwards from what you're seeing.
So like someone broke into the store through the window.
Yeah, someone or something broke into
Okay.
the store through this back window, from what you surmise.
Okay. Well, this bodes well.
We should probably go slowly and quietly.
I agree.
Okay. So you guys unlock the door in the back?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys in the front, are you guys just heading right in the front door?
Last. I am last.
You're last?
Behind everyone else. And I will follow them.
Okay.
Boo is not going ahead of the party this time.
Ever again.
Whoa, hold up. Can't you make one of us invisible?
At expense of my strongest ability, yes.
Shut up, Buck Dork, do it.
The problem with being invisible is it is wasted as soon as you're attacked. So sure, I'll tap myself on the nose and disappear. And then I will say, I will follow you guys in.
Mix is just gonna shake his head at both and just go, "Damn coward," and open the door and walk in.
Okay. Let me get the map up for you here. So as both of you are stepping into the store here, you are both able to see each other, the ones in the back and the ones in the front. It's not a particularly large store, it seems, and it's pretty quiet inside the store. Kind of eerily quiet.
Mix is going to, I'm assuming, up here. These are shelves. Where are the shelves of books?
Pretty much all of these shelves are books of various kinds. It's like this particular map wasn't a bookstore. It was about the closest thing I could find to what I was looking for. But all of these do seem to have various books.
Mix doesn't care. He's gonna walk in and start reading books, titles, looking for stuff on alchemy that he can steal.
Okay. Most of the books that you're seeing in here seem to be a mixture of either kind of comedic books or kind of low tier, kind of trashy fiction books, and maybe a few kind of sappy books here and there. But most of them appear to be kind of more general, general nonsense, as it is. This doesn't seem to be a very particularly high class bookstore establishment. It's mostly kind of more, general public amusement type books than they are knowledge.
Mix is gonna find the trashiest sex book that he can and toss it to Booth and go, here's your companion for the next few years.
As you are tossing this at Booth, do you even bother catching this?
I don't know. You probably can't even see me.
That's true.
No, I don't. I bide my time. I'll murder him someday.
Actually, yeah, Mix, go ahead and roll a perception check for me, Mix, and let's see if you even get anywhere near wherever Boo currently is at. Okay, so you chuck this book. It does kind of manage to get near Boo, where he's standing, kind of next to that counter there, but the book kind of lands on the counter and kind of skids across, kind of knocking a few small baubles here and there. And as this happens, you hear a meow coming from somewhere in the store. Jinku, Zayar, what are you guys doing in the back? Oh, go ahead, Mix.
Ready his Eldritch Blast. As soon as he can see whatever the heck this is, he's gonna blow it up.
Okay. Jinku, Zayar, what are you doing? You guys hear this meow as well.
If Zaire would probably search for the cat.
Okay. Roll a
Oh,
perception.
Jinku definitely would be too.
Okay. Both of you roll a perception check for me and see if you can kind of suss out what direction that came from.
Yeah, I'm a cat person. Can I just talk to this cat?
This particular cat, as far as you know, is just a regular house cat and doesn't have any particular language abilities.
Can't find my character sheet.
If you click on PC... Oh, wait, you got it. It's right there.
I did click on PC. It doesn't bring it up.
Oh, you just had it behind. It was already behind your window. There it is.
You said perception?
Yep, perception. Okay. So Jinku, both you and Zayara are kind of listening as close as you can, but you aren't quite able to make out as clearly what direction it's coming from. Just kind of give you a little description here. It seems like directly in front of you, Jinku and Zayara, there is a set of stairs going down into a basement, and then kind of just to the north of where Blossom is currently standing, there's a set of stairs going up, but you couldn't quite make out which floor it's coming from.
I turned to Jinku and asked, well, do you want to explore the basement?
Well, if there is something in here, I'm guessing that's probably where it's at. Should we bring the others, or do you just want to go the two of us?
We can see if any of them want to come with us. I'm not entirely sure how easily we will be able to tear Mix and Boo away from the books.
All right.
Mix is reading the trashiest novel that he could find on the shelves.
All right.
Just completely ignoring everybody, waiting for somebody to call him.
Mix, we're supposed to be helping the old lady.
Oh, what, Jinku? Here, you need to read this one. Trust me, it's good.
We'll bat it out of his hands and say, "We came here to help the old lady and her cat. Now let's do that."
All of you roll another perception check for me. Okay.
12. I perceive that books are bad.
So you again hear another meow from somewhere in this shop, and for most of you, that is all that you hear. But for Boo, you were able to pick out that there were actually two meows that seemed to happen at the exact same time, and they seemed to come from separate floors. But it was almost imperceptible, the difference, but you were able to pick it out.
Cool.
Interesting. I'll share that it's a little weird. Well,
Is whatever is in this bookstore mimicking the cat, perhaps?
could it be another mimic? I'm not a fan of the last one you guys left to kill me.
In fairness, we left it to kill Mix. You just chose to stay in the room.
I don't have a choice.
Hey. Can Mix sense where this thing is at? Like, if he casts a spell at it? Maybe hit it?
Do you have any kind of like sensory type spell you can cast to?
I have Vicious Mockery, where I can throw insults at it and force it to make a wisdom save.
Okay. Well, I mean, as it is right now, you aren't really sure where exactly it is, but at least from the info that Boo had shared with you all, there seems to be something on both floors, upper and lower.
Well, Zyara and I were gonna go downstairs anyway, so if anybody wants to come with us, let's go.
I'll
I'll
join
go
you.
downstairs. Books are boring.
Yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs with them and kick Blossom in the ass for saying books are boring.
Okay. Let me get that map up here. Oh, gotta size that down. 1 sec. There we go. Let me get everybody's tokens moved on to there.
It's okay, Moog. I found the cat.
Oh, whoops. Forgot to do the grid.
Damn, Jenko was huge.
Yes, I am.
That's why when she threatens to sit on you, you should take it seriously.
Almost got everybody.
Yep.
There we go.
Like the buttons and I cannot lie. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so you guys are on the stairs down into the basement here. The main floor with the books and things that were up there, like there was, kind of a bit of disarray on some of the shelves. Like some of them did, like the books seemed a bit knocked around and knocked out of the shelves in some places. The same seems to have happened down here with some of the various storage crates and boxes and things are seen to have kind of loosely scattered around, almost like they had been like kicked or something. like some of the like one of the smaller shelves upstairs seemed like it had been like kind of kicked as well in some sort of fashion. But everything seems, it seems like something was like going through things in kind of a very rough manner.
Mix is gonna keep his Eldritch Blast prepared, and he's just gonna start rummaging through things. He's like in heaven.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an investigation check for me, Mix, if you're looking around. What are the rest of you up to?
Hey, Zayara. I think we should solve this like the rug problem. Let's find the cat, light the place on fire. Problem solved.
I would probably advise no fire. We might distress the poor woman more by burning her bookshop down than if we didn't come here at all.
Hey, actually, no. No, that'll work in our favor. Then the only place she'll have to go is our inn. And then we'll hopefully have a paying customer.
I don't think she's gonna pay us after we destroy her livelihood.
Yeah,
The creature set the place on fire. We barely made it out alive with her cat.
I don't think I can support
No.
this plan.
No.
Is everyone else's fantasy ground still up? Because mine just disappeared.
Mine's up.
No, it I disconnected.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
up, but it's disconnected.
Okay, hold on.
I haven't disconnected yet. Oh, it's about to.
One sec. I don't know why it crashed, but it just randomly crashed. So, Mix, as you were looking around, kind of through the, barrels and crates and stuff that have been kind of kicked, you see, just from, most of the stuff that's in these is kind of various, just kind of sundries and supplies, nothing particularly interesting, like her food storage. But looking at some of the crates that have been kicked, it almost gives you the impression of what it looks like when like a horse or a donkey of some kind like back kicks something in. Just from like the way just from the way some of the holes are shaped, or some of the indentations in the softer bits of wood, it kind of gives you that impression, like a horse kick, almost.
Mix won't share this information with the party. He's just gonna be like, huh, and continue digging through stuff because he's a greedy, selfish bastard.
I think Zayara is going to prepare her crossbow and look around as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Jinko will definitely have her flail ready just in case something pops out at us.
Okay. Well, I'd have you roll, but it is still loading.
I have a D20 right here.
Sure, if you want to roll it. Oh,
Damn.
we're back up. We're back up. Okay.
Well, mine finally just crashed, so...
Yeah, mine just crashed too.
Okay. Yeah,
It's reloading though.
Yeah, it's loaded back up, so you should be able to rejoin. I'll get the map and things back restored. Sorry about that.
Why are you making that gross noise again?
Okay.
And know what that noise is?
When it comes to you, I don't want to know.
That's a fair bet.
Is the sound of me letting my dentures hang loose and shoving them in and out of my mouth with my tongue and them rubbing across my bottom teeth.
No.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't want to know.
Jesus. All right. Okay, back up. Map's there. Let me get... Oh, whoops. Oh, it didn't even save. It didn't save the grid that I put on it. Hold on.
Womp womp.
Weird. I don't know what the heck was up with that weird crash. Alright, Mix was over here. Blossom's there. There. Igu. Okay, there we go. Mass back up.
Did you want to sit?
Sure. So here I'll roll. Oh please. Oh what?
Did it crash again?
It crashed again. What the hell, Fantasy Grounds?
So when you open it,
Yeah.
go to your images, your maps,
Yeah.
before we connect.
Yes.
And then all of your maps that are public,
Mm-hmm.
unshare everything that you can unshare. Have you been compressing these maps before, like uploading them at all?
Well, these most recent ones, let me see how big they were. 'Cause I just grabbed them right before the session here. So I wonder if something fucky was with them. Let me see what I can find.
I suspect that it would be that it's usually when I'm running into crashing, it's memory issues, because of maps being overshared and weird shit like that.
Okay. Let's see. Users, app data, Fantasy Grounds, campaigns, Dragon Heist, images. Alright, how big are these fuckers? Not that big.
Hey, it's not letting me connect.
That's because it's still loading again. It crashed a second time. I'm just getting that back up now, or I'm just trying to get that back up right now. Sorry about that. Mystery, technical difficulties. So you said like in the images and maps tab, like unshare stuff there. Okay, I'll do that before.
Yeah, you can do it when you're looking at all of them. It'll have the little P to the right of the ones that are public, and if you just click that, it unshares them.
Okay.
And that might help. And then if you just leave the two that we're needing right now, or the one that we need right now shared, that might help you.
Okay. So here, I'll let you know once I've done that, so you can reconnect. Because let me de-public those. So I wonder if I have. Yeah, that might be.
Redact. That's a good word for depublic.
Oh yeah, there you go. Redact. Yeah.
Dead camp. Is that the password series? Because it's not letting me reconnect.
That's because mine is still loading. It's taken a while for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know. Soon as I am able to get you in. Well, I guess while we're waiting for that to load, Riz, I guess go ahead and roll that d20 that you have handily on your desk.
I'm still pretty convinced that it's not weighted right, but sure.
Well,
Floated in water to sea.
well, we'll see if it's weighted in your favor, I guess.
12.
12? Okay. So...
If it's a... Am I adding anything to it?
Oh, you probably would. See, that would be... If it was investigation, you would probably be like a +2 or 3. Probably. So like 14.
Well, I know...
Okay. Maps.
If it's perception, it's a +3. I don't know if... Is investigation the same?
Oh, that's true. You said just click the P? Okay, there we go. That's P. Let me go through these pages.
If you touch the P, it disappears.
Okay, that might be, because I see there's quite a few maps in here that have a P. Like all the Blue Alley ones still had a P. We're not even there anymore. Come on. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that has a P. It
helps once you have them sorted like that to at the end of the session or once a week or so go and unshare.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's why this is. Yeah, there's like the Gala maps. Yeah, those are still shared. Yeah, these are all like old from a while ago. You should be able to start reconnecting. Good way through the pages here. Just de-sharing all this stuff. Let me go to the last page. That's where all the W's are going to be. For water
I
deep.
think I finally got in.
Yeah, I see ya. That off. All the water deep quadrants. Alright, well, that's probably most of them. Alright, looks like just Riz left. There we go. Okay, everybody's back. I have unshared most of the stuff. Okay, let me get that general store back up. Or the bookstore back up. Still didn't save my grid. Okay, there's our grid. Here's our combat tracker. Here's our people. Okay. Can we all see the map?
Yes.
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. So, Zara, you're looking around here in the basement with your crossbow out. You hear what sounds like a very, very faint kind of rustling motion of some kind to the, like in the southeast corner of the room, you would say?
So I tap Jinku on the arm and head over towards the southeast.
Okay.
I'll follow her, trying to stay a little bit ahead of her to kind of block her from anything.
Okay. So coming around here, there's kind of a large partition that's just to the north of you here, and this seems to be kind of a makeshift bedroom of sorts. Nothing particularly fancy. It's pretty much just like a carpet and a bed and some drawers and things, and like a small bookshelf. A couple of the drawers are kind of pulled out a little bit, and they're a little ajar on the dresser, and the books are kind of a little bit ruffled. Do you check around any of these at all?
I would probably kind of jostle the bed with my weight just to, if there's anything under it, try to scare it out.
Okay. You do so, and kind of pull at the sheets a little bit and kind of shake the bed a little. Nothing seems to come out, and you don't hear any noises or movement at all from that.
I'm gonna check out the dresser and the books, like the area that looks like it's been rummaged through.
Okay. So the dresser, you kind of try to rifle through the doors a little bit. You just kind of find what seemed to be this old woman's various clothes, shirts, pants, dresses, whatever. And the bottom drawer, which seems to have mostly, blouses and shirts of various types. In the very, very back of the drawer, you find a very frightened looking calico cat. And like as you're kind of like pulling the drawer out a little bit to kind of look in here, it seems to be trying to like shrink as far back into the corner of this dresser drawer as it possibly can.
I sit down on the floor and offer my hand to the cat and try and see if it will like come closer to me.
Okay. Roll an animal handling check for me. Okay. So you kind of reach out your hand here and kind of try to get the cat to notice it and get a little used to it. Maybe kind of hide it under one of the shirts a little bit and kind of try to play a little, try to get a little of attention from it. And it seems to warm up a little bit to you. It seems to understand that you don't mean it any harm. Boo, roll a perception check for me from where you're standing over there. Boo, you're standing over by the stairs and you hear a meow again coming from above, and also a pretty, some movement. But kind of sounds like something being pushed or moved around, and with a fairly large weight, it seems. And you're also a little confused because you feel like you heard what sounds like hooves.
This is fine.
I will
It's okay.
I'll drop my familiar on the ground and
Okay.
go upstairs and investigate.
You and the familiar, or just the familiar?
Just me
Okay.
leaving the familiar down here.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So the familiar you have sitting, or just just like standing at the bottom of the stairs where you were before a moment ago. Okay. Where are you heading? You're going up the stairs, and like going out the back door, or what are you doing?
Wherever if I heard the sound upstairs, I'm gonna head upstairs, and and look for the source of the sound on the floor, the ground floor, at least.
Okay. On the ground floor, you don't seem to see anything more of note than what you had before. Just some kind of disarray with the bookshelves, nothing new, and no, presence of any kind. You do hear again what seems to be kind of a large something decently large moving upstairs. And again, you hear what sounds like some hooves, and again another meow, which sounds almost exactly the same as the meow that you heard in the basement that Zayara was looking into over in the corner.
I'll take a moment to send my familiar over to tug on. Looks like Zayara is probably the closest one to him.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll kind of creep up to the next floor.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh, hold on.
I tell the others, I think Boo's found something upstairs.
Then let's go.
At least we found the cat.
Yes.
And I tell the cat that it should just stay here and we'll be back for it.
Okay. So do all of you head up to the ground floor while Boo's heading up to the first or second floor?
Jinku definitely does.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. So
I'll follow everybody.
Okay. So most of you are on the ground floor coming up here, and Boo, which who's still invisible, that you can't see, is creeping up to the second floor to see what he can see. Let me get that map up here. All right. So Boo, you head upstairs. And the second floor of this shop, it has a few kind of tables around that seem to be kind of like reading areas of some sorts. Some other kind of sitting things. There's a few shelves around the edges, and maybe some storage as well. But it seems like the main store area is mostly on the ground floor. But this is more of like a reading area, and when the way the second floor is set up, it's kind of a ring around, and like the middle of the second floor is open to the first. There's kind of just a banister around the middle there. You can see your compatriots below on the first floor, and you hear the sounds that you hear of movement are coming from like the eastern side, which you can't quite make out because like around this stair is a wall except for where the stairs come up, and then it's the banister around the middle. So do you kind of make your way out more into the open here?
Yeah, I'll move to see what I can see.
Okay.
It was still invisible, right?
Boo is still invisible. That's correct.
It's the only reason he's out in the open.
That is correct.
And that is essentially, I've conned him into doing the exact same thing he said he wouldn't do again.
That is correct.
So he's a coward and easily manipulated.
Okay. So, Boo, as you're coming around this table here, you take a look over onto the other side of this area, and you see a large, kind of strange creature that you... Oops.
That disappears.
Oh, there it is. That you don't quite... That you've never seen this before. And it appears to be... It's a little bit hard to make out in the light, but it looks like a combination of, it's got the legs of like a horse or a deer or something like that, but the body almost reminds you of kind of like a hyena or a knoll or something of that sort. And let me give you a lovely picture of this thing.
Oh, it looks like mix.
And you see this kind of rooting around, among some of the boxes up there. And again, you hear it make the meow noise. It seems to be, mimicking this cat, maybe an attempt to kind of, hunt it or find it, kind of suss it out with its own call. But it's pretty decently large and rather horrendous looking. You also kind of notice, kind of wafting around the edge of the banister here, this just like horrible stench of death coming off of this thing. It is nauseating.
Smells like mix. Okay. I'll go down the stairs, like trying to be without trying to make noise or anything, and tell whoever's closest to the stairs that it seems like she was not lying this time. There is some creature up there that is wrong.
Nix would have been following right behind Booth, so
And it looks like mix, so don't mix them up.
Nix is tempted. Nix is gonna throw a vicious mockery right at Booth instead of that monster. He's just pissed.
I will murder you.
So are all the rest of you coming back upstairs from the information that you've gotten?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would have
Okay.
carefully made my way up the stairs.
Okay. So as you are all coming up the stairs here, like you're all kind of struck by this just foul stench that seems to be, kind of slowly filling up this whole upper floor. And, like it reeks of death. And you see, like Boo, you kind of noticed as you were walking around, like this, like this strange, like fluid that seems to have kind of dripped all over the floor up here off of this thing, maybe from its, mouth or whatever else. That just smells of rot and digestive juices. And it, again, it kind of makes you all a bit nauseous just to be, in this kind of stink that this thing seems to raise. And as you come up to the top of the stairs, Boo's kind of, this thing's still kind of rooting around over on this. Oh my God, Fantasy Grounds! Did you seriously just crash on me again?
Yes.
Fucking Christ! What?
It did.
Apparently the universe didn't want you to play D&D on your birthday.
I guess not. Rude. I unshared all those things.
Extensions, maybe? You could try removing any decal extensions you might have loaded, but it looks like you only have the water deep ones.
Yep.
But you do have you're loading the DMG desktop decal too.
Well, here, let me take those off.
Pulling mood lighting probably wouldn't hurt anything. I don't know much about the other ones, and I know you don't want to pull out some of those, but you could probably pull mood lighting without an issue.
Okay. I'll do that.
I'm just guessing. By the way, this is just
That's
pure
fine.
guessing.
That's fine. Turn those off. We'll see if that helps. It's weird because I haven't changed anything since last time with this at all. I did all the Unity stuff 3 weeks ago now, and I haven't changed anything since then. the hell? Ugh, sorry about that. I'll let you guys know once it's back up. It's still loading right now. You can have us back if you want.
Okay, do I need to log out and log back in because everything's kind of frozen up?
Yeah, if you're still in there, go ahead and close out of it.
How do I close
Right
out?
click. Yeah. Okay. What the hell? Okay, I am back up. So let me get the maps ready. Wow. And it makes horrific denture noises.
That is like completely awful. If that really is denture noises, that's just disgusting.
I put a picture in Discord in this game's channel.
Yeah, I noped out when I saw it.
So, so at work, right, we have to wear face masks.
Yeah.
So what I do is I get my teeth up in that position and I walk up to minors and I pull my face mask down and they freak the fuck out. It's amazing.
Oh god. Okay, that's back up. Let's see if this is going to let me. Yes, okay, let me do that. Okay. Get this into the.
I can join again, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead. Got the map back up, things are back in its place. And then I'll get you guys the map once I see you're all in and have your character sheets. Okay, see 3 of you. Just missing Blossom and Mix, it looks like. There's Blossom.
I'm not missing. You're missing.
There we go, I see it now.
Yeah. Oh.
There we go. Okay. Get this map shared. Okay. There we go. Alright, so. Horrible, foul-smelling thing on the other side of the room that none of you have ever seen before. You've never seen a creature like this before. And it is just plain horrifying. Go ahead and roll, all of you roll a stealth check for me as you guys are all kind of coming up the stairs here. All right. Well, across all of you as a group, you managed to pass. So you're all currently on this other end of the second floor of this place, and it hasn't noticed you yet. It's kind of moved a little bit. It's kind of looking around other these tables over here now, and like all of you are just starting to get kind of hit by these waves of stench off of this thing. A couple of you, as you're kind of stepping around, you step in some of this strange liquid on the floor that seems to have dripped off this thing. It is not a pleasant sight. What do you guys all do?
This looks wrong. Like do I get the feeling this thing should die? I mean, it looks like it should be put down to me, but and you said I sense death, like necrotic energy from it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll an insight check on me if you're trying to get kind of a read on this thing.
Would I know anything about this creature?
Let's see. Roll.
Creature's been used in Colosseums?
Roll a history check for me on that one. Let's see if this has ever come up in a Colosseum. Okay. For you feel like you have maybe heard a tale from around at a bar from someone once that they fought some horrible beast that was half horse, half hyena, and something or other, and it sounded like the drunken ravings of some fellow fighter compatriot at this Coliseum you were at, but you never saw one. Actually, you just heard this tale that they had a friend of a friend who had fought one of these things before, and they were torn to pieces by its mighty jaws. But that's the only thing that comes to mind to you, at least, Blossom. And Boo, for you trying to get a read on this, this thing almost feels kind of demonic, almost to you. You get that kind of an aura off of it.
Tinku, you should go kill this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, let's kill it.
Okay.
Well, Blossom, if you're wanting to set anything on fire today,
Hey, this thing was on the top floor. We should set this building on fire. It would have died, but no.
no, we're
No,
not setting the
no.
building on
Fire
fire.
wasn't good enough.
And while they're arguing, I'm gonna yell, "Hey, ugly!"
Okay. So as you yell this out, this thing does the 360.
Exorcism.
Yep,
He
it's
does a
demonic.
flip.
Does the 360 no scope and snipes you from across. No, it whirls
Rad,
around
dude.
with this and snarls in your direction, and you can see like just the jaws of this thing are just like slavering and dripping with fluids of some kind, and it's absolutely disgusting. Go ahead and roll initiative, all of y'all.
What if its head in that position? Is it drool going up its nose? Because
Well, it's just facing to the left. It isn't actually upside down.
it's not what the picture says.
Can I
Okay.
throw my Eldritch Blast that I had that I've been holding at this thing?
Sure, why not? We'll let you go ahead and do that. Okay, so Mix, you let this Eldritch Blast fly across the middle of the room here, hitting this thing for 7 damage, and it seems to shake this off pretty handily, it seems. All right, so looks like first up in the order we have Jinku. You shouted out to this thing, and you are up.
And now I'm gonna shoot it with an arrow.
All right, fire away. All right, so you shoot your arrow across the room towards this thing, and it just lodges in like the side of the table next to it, a near miss. Anything else on your turn?
Damn. No.
Okay. So this creature barrels around. Let's see. 5, 10. Let's see. So this thing comes barreling around the banister towards you, Jinku, and as it gets close to you here, you see that this creature, it almost looks like, you know, that you can kind of get a better look at it. It almost looks like a combination of like the head of a gigantic badger on the legs of a deer and the body of a large hyena, infused with demonic forces. Is
Damn.
what,
It is ugly.
yeah, it's one ugly motherfucker, that is for sure. It is not happy to see you, but it does get close to here. Doesn't manage to get quite in range on its turn. This kind of gets up to behind this table and lets out this kind of unholy roar in your direction. Like that? Sure, we'll go with that. What brings us to Mix. What are you doing, Mix? Did we lose him?
Oh.
Oh, there we go. I hear you now.
Sorry.
You're good. What are you doing, Mix?
I'm gonna throw a witching bolt at it.
Witch Bolt. Okay. Your Witch Bolt strikes true. Go ahead and roll that. All right. Was it that Witch Bolt? That's the like continuous one, right?
Yeah, I can roll
Okay.
damage every turn.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Anything else besides the Witching Bolt?
Nope.
Okie dokie. Boo. You are still currently invisible, and this thing just came barreling all the way around from the other side of the room here towards you guys. And like as it's, you know, kind of stopped behind this table here, like just this waft of this just disgusting stench and aura off of this is just kind of wafted into the corner where all of you are.
I'll back up into the corner
Okay.
and cast. Yeah, that witch bolt hit. So I'll cast Toll of the Dead.
Okay.
That is it.
All right. The Toll of the Dead does not manage to take on this creature. Blossom. You're at the top of the stairs here, and you can see this thing through the little bit of banister here. Blossom, we still got you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what are you doing?
Move up to there and ready an attack.
Okay, just with your battle axe?
Yep.
Your great axe? Yeah, okay. Sweet.
Trusty Great Axe.
Okay, so just as soon as it gets in range, smacking away?
Or until the next turn.
Or until, okay. Alright, brings us to Zyara.
Excuse me, pumpkin. I need to see my screen. I am probably just going to try and get it with a sacred flame.
Okay. Sacred Flame ahoy.
Yes. Hello, pumpkin.
Alright, that hits. Go ahead and roll that Sacred Flame damage. Alright. So this Sacred Flame descends onto this creature here. Catches a bit of the fur, kind of the tuft of fur along the back of its neck on fire for a moment, dealing a small bit of damage to it.
Does it smell really beautiful?
Oh yeah, you're just adding more great smells to the already wonderful plethora of smells that are going on up here in
The
this.
wonderful bouquet
Yes.
of aromas.
All right, Blossom, back at the top of the order with you. What are you doing with that great axe?
All right. I'm going to rage.
You're gonna rage, okay.
Can't remember which one's the D8.
It should be the third one from the right.
Neat.
Okay. Which one's for?
Arcane energy enshrouds you. Until your rage ends, you gain a +2 bonus to AC whenever a creature within 10 feet of you hits you. With an attack, the creature takes force damage equal to your Constitution modifier.
Okay. So you get some bonus AC and then it attacks you and gets force damage back, if I'm understanding that right, sounds like?
Force damage back equal to 4.
Cool. Alright. So you got kind of like a force field, DMG force field almost. That's kind of neat. Sweet.
I got a spike shield.
There you go. Yeah, you got a spike shield. Nice, that's cool. Alright, anything else?
I'm gonna charge this thing and swing with my great axe.
All right, so you kind of charge up, you kind of running up onto this low table, reading table here, and strike down with your great axe upon it. Go ahead and roll that. Oof. And that just completely whiffs. It seems this reading table was maybe not quite as stable as you had hoped. One of the legs was a little wobbly, so it caught you off balance a bit. And you don't quite manage to strike.
Whatever.
Which brings us to
I get it
Zayara.
next time.
Yep.
Second verse, same as the first.
All right. All right, so your Sacred Flame descends onto this creature, but it manages to resist it this time. That Sacred Flame that's just a cantrip, right? Or is that a first level?
It's a cantrip.
Okay, so it doesn't do any damage then. Okay. All right, so that sizzles out. Anything else on your turn?
No.
Okay. Mix.
I'm gonna continue with the Witching Bolt.
All right. Roll that Witching Bolt. Okay. Anything else besides the Witch Bolt?
Can't do anything else. I'm just going to move to where I can like hold Booth in front of me.
Okay, so just kind of moving back into that corner. All right. All right, so your Witching Bolt continues to arc energy towards this thing, dealing a bit more damage to it. This creature, seeing that you've leaped up onto the table right in front of it, I mean, this thing's pretty large. Like, it is a large creature. So, I mean, you're basically right in front of its face at the moment, Blossom, standing on this table. Oh, did it? Oh, shit, I did skip Booth. Sorry about that. Boo, go ahead. What are you doing in the corner?
I will cast Toll the Dead on this
All right.
critter.
Toll that dead. That manages to take this time. Go ahead and roll that Toll the Dead damage. Very nice. Very nice. 12 damage. This seems to have done a
I will maintain eye contact with Mix while this happens, and I will say, I saw you looking for me and attempting to mutter some sort of arcane bullshit. If you ever harm me, I will consider our bounds broken, and I will bind you to my familiar for the rest of your days after I murder you.
Max is just gonna start laughing. You wish.
All right. Anything else, Boo?
No.
Okay. So, the creature here. So, like I said, Blossom, you're basically right in front of its face here on this low reading table. And so this turns slightly and strikes out at you, Blossom. It tries biting at you, and then also kind of rears up and tries to strike you with its hooves, its front hooves, and manages to do so.
You do know my AC is 20 now, right?
Ah, that's right, it is 20. It does still hit because it was a 24. But the first one still missed. So this
So
thing...
it took damage on that first one.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
Or wait, no, it takes damage on the second one because that one actually hit you. So it was 4 force damage, right?
Yep.
From your Constitution modifier. Okay, let me apply that since we don't have that like program. Let me put that in. All right. So this thing rears up with its hooves and kind of brings them down at you, striking you quite hard for 10 bludgeoning damage. But at the same time, this kind of aura of force that surrounds you in your rage, it almost seems to kind of bounce its hooves back off of you slightly at kind of an awkward angle, doing some damage to it as well. And as this happens, and it attacks you with its hooves and bounces back off, it disengages from you after that hoof attack and kind of backs up slightly.
Right, would that give me an attack of opportunity?
With this, it doesn't in this case for this particular creature. It has a thing for that.
And
Which brings us to Jinku.
Well, first, I'm going to tuck my trunk into my shirt because it smells really, really bad in here. And I don't want to smell it anymore. And then I'm going to rush up to the critter and attack it with my flail.
Okay. All right, that hits. Dealing another 9 damage to this creature. Which brings us to the top of the round with Zyara.
I'm gonna move here,
Okay.
and I'm gonna use my crossbow.
All right.
Or not.
All right. So you aim your crossbow here from behind this low reading table, and it unfortunately thuds into one of the crates against the wall. Blossom, this thing's backed up slightly from you. You're still on top of this reading table. What are you doing?
gonna move up to it and try to attack it with my battle axe.
All right. That hits. Roll that damage. Very nice. So you bring your great axe down on this thing and slice it pretty deep, kind of across, kind of the shoulder of one of its front legs here. And it kind of lets out this kind of inhumane howl. This fluid still kind of dripping out of its jaws here as it reels from this. Anything else besides that great axe strike?
No, that'll be it.
Okay, Jinku. Blossom's just let out a strike on this thing. What are you up to?
Flailing away.
All right. All right, your flail strikes true as well, dealing another 7 damage to this creature.
I want to use my action surge to attack it again.
Okay. That hits it again. Roll another damage on that. Great. So your flail, you strike this thing twice on the other side, both into the shoulder on the side of this kind of hulking beast here, dealing a pretty decent amount of damage to this. At the attacks from this, this thing becomes quite enraged, and as you see its eyes kind of take on this kind of red glow, and it strikes out at you, Jinku, with its jaws and its hooves.
Ow.
Hitting both times
Oof.
for a total of 24
Oof.
damage. And in addition, in this rage, strikes out at you, Blossom, but misses both times. Which brings
This
us...
thing is racist against Loxodons.
Apparently. How rude.
Which brings us to Boo, in the back corner.
Hey, the cat's still alive. I'm a cat.
Yeah, it's clearly racist.
I will repeat myself.
Totally dead?
Yep.
Okay.
Gotta save my energy for when it's needed most. Thanks.
All right. The Toll the Dead, unfortunately, does not take this time. Anything else? Okay. Mix.
I'm gonna continue with my witching bolt.
Witching Bolt, roll away. All right, your Witch Bolt does another 11 damage to this creature. It seems to be, you guys have done quite a bit of damage to it. It still seems to be quite intent on trying to destroy you all as much as it can, but it's looking a little worse for wear. Boo at the top of the order.
Same thing.
Same thing? All right. All right, that unfortunately still does not take. All right, so this creature, again, with this burning fire in its eyes, attacks again at you, Jinku, with a bite and a second bite as well, hitting both times. Oof. Dropping you to the ground
ow.
with its bite. And like as this thing sinks its jaws into you, like it almost feels like you're being bitten by plates of metal, like the strength that it bites into you with, and you lose consciousness as this tears into you here. Which brings us to Mix. Jinku's just gone down in front of you. This thing's jaws clasping around her like a vice.
Mix is gonna run up to Jinku. He's not gonna do his witching bolt. He's gonna use Spare the Dying to restore her.
Okay.
Which for some reason is not programmed in properly for me. But basically, it gives her 1 hit point.
Okay. So I'll give that to her. I'll take off the unconscious effect. Okay. So, Jinku, you are conscious. You're very wounded from this thing is torn into you. But you managed to kind of open your eyes slightly. You've got this just kind of disgusting smelling, bile and saliva that's kind of been slimed all over the front of you as this thing was chewing on you. But you are alive, at least. Which brings us to you, Jinku. You're on the floor.
Oh.
You're not feeling too
Yeah.
hot. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm angry. I want to go for one of its ankles with my flail.
All right. Ankle flail. And you get a critical hit with that ankle strike.
Right. That's right. That's what happens when you try to eat Jinku.
Very
Fueled by
nice.
pure rage.
All right. So Jinku, taken back from the dead by Mix and enraged, just ankles this thing with her flail, knocking it over to the ground, and in the process seems to have busted its legs out, and the shock of the pain seems to have taken it down at last.
That's almost as good as when Zayara killed that one person by bitch slapping them.
Yeah. That was great. All right. Nice job, you guys. So you are now out of combat, and this just disgusting smelling creature's corpse now lies on the second floor of this trashy bookstore.
Blossom is a little confused and aroused.
Mix is going to use his last spell slot to cure wounds on Jinku.
Okay. So Mix administers to you, Jinku. You feel a little bit more better. You already the adrenaline from taking this thing out at the ankles was already kind of got you back up, but you're feeling at least a little bit more stable now.
Thanks, Mix. And I'll get up and I'm gonna kick the corpse.
All right. Cool. I think at this point it's be a good time to take a quick break. I know we had some time, a little bit of downtime there with the fantasy grounds crashing, but I'm gonna get a little bit more water here. So we'll take a quick break here and come back for the rest of the session here. We'll be back.
But well, yeah, he will drink.
Yeah,
But
I just
it's
drink very,
very
little and very
slow.
sparingly, so
So I've never actually seen him drunk
yeah.
or even tipsy.
I've never been properly drunk, but that's okay. Anyways, we're back.
He just
That
laughs
is
at
not
me.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't drink
Wait
at all
a minute.
anymore, so I don't
Thank-
blame you.
Thanks,
I
Darktails.
just
Thanks for
wanna-
letting me know.
Don't know your limit
Hey,
until you have your hang.
Hush, 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 hush.
Okay.
I just put a batch of my peach moonshine going.
Hmm.
Just think about that.
All right. So you guys are now, you're in the second floor of this bookstore here. You managed to take out this mysterious creature that you still aren't quite sure what exactly it was, besides some horrendous amalgamation of God knows what. But you managed to slay it, and so it seems that the job that was requested of you by Mert on behalf of the Harpers has finished. They, may want to let her know, just to kind of console her a little bit, but that's up to you guys. So, what do y'all get up to now? Now that this creature has been taken out.
I draw a picture of it and cut an ear off and put it in my ear pouch.
You specifically have an ear pouch?
By now, I imagine, yes.
By now. All right. So you kind of quickly draw a picture. Go ahead, do a performance check for me. Let's see how good of a picture this is that you managed to doodle.
Could I argue that an investigation check might better reflect my skill at looking, investigating, and transferring the investigation to the sheet?
Okay, I'll let you have that
Don't
one.
call BS. You just want to read books, bookworm.
All right. So you kind of pull out your little notebook here, and you kind of pace around the corpse of this creature that you guys had just slain. Make a pretty decent sketch of it, enough that you think that if you showed this to someone or tried to find some info from someone for research, they may be able to tell what it is from what you got. So pretty good, quick sketch.
Can I use any part of this creature for my evil potions?
I
Nature
don't.
and-
Go ahead and roll a nature check for me, but I don't think so. Let me get its thing back up here and take a look at what it's got. And you look this thing over, and I mean, being that it's not a creature that you're familiar with, you aren't even entirely sure what its properties might be or what might be of use of it. I mean, like it's been described, it kind of looks like, like almost several different things together, and so you're not even quite sure what would even be of use just from looking over it there with your check there.
Mix doesn't care. He's still going to take a vial of its blood. He's going to
Okay.
slice his neck open and drain a vial of blood.
Okay, yeah, sure. You can still take a vial of its blood at least if you wanted to look into later. Cool. Anything else?
He's going to dump it into one of his potions. Maybe it'll explode in his face. He doesn't really care.
All
He's
right.
a mad scientist.
What about this creature's salivatory glands or lymph nodes?
I mean, at least from the the saliva that was dripping everywhere out of its mouth and is kind of pooling in various places, it mostly just seems to have a terrible, terrible stench. It doesn't seem to have any, from stepping in it and things that it doesn't seem to have any kind of acidic type properties or anything like that. It just seems to reek really, really bad. As you get up close to it to kind of try to get a look at it and kind of ascertain anything extra about it, you almost have to hold down your vomit, because it reeks of corpses and death and saliva and terrible, terrible breath all combined. So as far as you can tell, it just smells.
Outside of the game, fun fact, salivatory glands and lymph nodes are the first two ingredients in chorizo.
In chorizo, you said?
Yes.
And chorizo is disgusting.
I like chorizo. Interesting. I never knew that. That's cool.
Chorizo's delicious.
Well, I guess to clarify,
is basically just all the horrible parts.
true. I mean, I have to clarify. It has to be good chorizo because I've definitely had some places that
That's
had
why
terrible
it's
chorizo.
so cheap.
Yeah, I've had some bad chorizo that was not good, but if it's like well seasoned and stuff, then that's good. Anyways,
Okay,
anything else that you guys are doing with this creature?
my chorizo. You want it?
No,
So,
I go tell the lady. Oh, go ahead, Jenkins. Sorry.
is there windows up here?
There are some, like they're not very large, like they're kind of small second floor windows. Like it seems like this second floor is kind of like in the roof area, like the ceiling in here kind of arches upward towards the peak in the middle of the room. So the
Do
windows
they-
kind of jut out a little bit. They're small.
Do they open at least?
You try one and kind of mess with the latch, and yeah, like you managed to get maybe this top left one closest to the stairs open.
Okay, I just want to try to air it out for the old lady.
All right.
Mix is leaving to get his reward for helping kill this creature.
I'm following Mix. Rewards are important.
Yeah, I don't want to smell this thing anymore.
That's fair. You do manage to get the windows open, so hopefully it'll air out a bit.
Oh, please. You haven't had to clean the bathroom troughs at a coliseum. That was nothing.
You don't know what I've done.
You don't know what I've been through. All right.
You don't know my story.
So you all head out of the general nonsense bookstore here into the street and back down to the tower in Felsian's Folly, where where did that go? Where Uza is still kind of not quite as distressed sobbing as she was before. Like she still seems a little emotional. Still has a tankard, another one that she's working on. But she seems to have at least taken some comfort that someone listened to her. And she sees you guys come back in. You all smell pretty bad. Just, especially Blossom and Jinku, you both, Jinku especially, since she got chomped through, has quite a bit of this nasty smelling saliva on her. Like, as soon as you walk in, a couple of the patrons that are near the door almost immediately gag, especially at you, Jinku. And you see the bartender kind of look up at you, Jinku, being kind of like waving you back out the door, holding his nose. Boo and Zyara and Mix, you three, he allows you to stay, but Jinku, Blossom, he kind of keeps waving you back outside into the street.
I'll walk back outside and say I'm sorry.
I will follow them outside and clean them up.
Okay. So Boo helps them out. So Zara and Mix, you're both in here. You smell, but you're not as pungent as the others, and Boo's helping them out. And Uza's over at her booth. She did see you come in this time, and kind of looks in your direction expectantly, kind of with a hopeful look in her eyes.
I guess I go over to her and tell her we found the creature that was in your shop and we've disposed of it. Your cat seems to be hiding in the basement in the dresser.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that it is all right. What was it? I didn't get a good look at it before I ran out of the place. It burst in through the window and was horrendous, and I ran out the front door as quickly as I could. What did it end up being?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. It almost seemed demonic. Something evil in nature.
She kind of shudders at this and is like, oh, dark forces must be afoot in the realm. I don't know why they attacked my little store. Nothing of interest there, I'm afraid. Perhaps it was just hungry, I do not know. But I thank you all for believing me. I believe if you speak to Mert, he will have a reward for you for the kindness that you've done me here today. He's usually found at the yawning portal. If you aren't sure where to find him, he's often there, so maybe go there first.
Alright, well, thank you very much.
All right. As you are going to leave, like she's, she kind of goes to leave as well. She takes the keys back from you that she lent to you for her place, and you see her kind of lurch up the street towards her place. She's obviously still a bit tipsy from the tankard she took through, but it seems like she's had a lot of tankards in her time, and she seems to at least hold them fairly well. But off she goes back towards her bookstore. And you guys are all out in the street. And Jinku and Blossom, like Jinku still look a little worse for wear from all this. But at least you don't smell quite so bad. Thanks to Boo's assistance here.
You mix. Boo did do crap. Mix healed her.
Oh, Boo said he was going out and prestidigitating them. Try to clean them. Since the barkeep kept waving them back out because of the stench. Alright, so do you guys try to seek out Mert?
Jinku's gonna say, "Hey guys, let's go find Kurt. I don't remember what the hell his name is, but let's go get our reward."
Yes.
Jinku's bad with names.
Yes, reward from that person. Book people. What's that person's name? We need reward.
All right. So
Mix,
you... Oh, go ahead, Mix.
You're gonna look at him and be like, Mert. It's Mert at the yawning portal. Let's go.
See that, Jinku? Book people.
She just kind of nods along with him.
All right. So you guys make your way over to the yawning portal, which is pretty much just west of you here. It's not too far away from the part of the city that you're currently in. You make your way over to that familiar locale and head inside. Durnan is behind the bar as usual at your service. And, there seems to be a wide variety of patrons in here. This place is always busy, famous location as it is. And you do see at the bar, conversing with Durnan currently, is Mert. Sitting up on one of the stools there, seemingly kind of engaged in a kind of a joyous, almost nostalgic conversation with Durnan. About some adventure in the past or something that someone had done as you guys walk in.
Mix is gonna walk right up to this dude and be like, tell him the full story of what happened and why we're here to talk to him.
As you're kind of explaining this to Mert here, Durnan kind of looks over at you all and says, "Well, seems you guys have gotten into some more adventures in your short time in Waterdeep so far. I'm glad you're keeping busy. How's the manor coming up there? I heard it was looking a lot better these days."
Looking good. Pretty soon we'll be one of your main competitors.
Durnan kind of laughs at this. He says, "Well, the Troll Skull does have some renown, but it may take quite a bit of time to live up to the Yawning Portal. But I am sure you will do good business up in the North Ward. They're in need of a good drinking establishment in that area. There's too many rich nobles who don't have anywhere good to drink in that part of town. They always have to leave their homes a little farther than expected. But maybe I'll come stop by once you're up and running." And Mert kind of agrees with him and says, Yes, I've been there recently, and the furnishings they had there were lovely. I'm not quite sure who was doing them, but everything I saw there was good so far. Last I visited, maybe I will stop by as well. I'm glad to hear you were able to finish that job, though, Perusa. Did it turn out that it was something after all, right? It wasn't just another one of her tall tales?
Oh yeah, there was something there, all right.
You see, Durnan kind of... Oh, go ahead, Mix.
Nick, he's gonna hold up the vial of blood and hand it to him, and he goes, "Smell this. It'll explain a lot. But I need that back. I want to experiment on it."
So Durnan, kind of takes a look at this vial, kind of turns it over, kind of with a curious look on his face, pulls the stopper out a little bit and kind of sniffs it, and instantly just reels back and says, "Oh, that is a strong one. Pray tell, what manner of beast did this come from? I haven't smelled something so foul in many, many a year." He hands it over to Mert as well to kind of look over, and Mert also kind of, gives it a whiff and also reacts accordingly, kind of and hands it back to you, Mix.
We couldn't tell you. We've never seen anything like this.
At this, Durnan seems pretty interested, and he kind of sets down the mug he was, currently kind of polishing up with the towel here, places his hand down on the bar and says, "Well, what did it look like? What did it, what sort of beast or creature was it? I may have seen something in all my years. It's been a while since I've done some adventuring, me and Mert both, but we have quite a few years of across the realms under our belts. Maybe we can help."
Boo, you sketched a picture of it, didn't you?
Yes.
Why don't you show them?
Fine. I'll show him.
Okay. So you pull out your sketchbook here and show this to Durnan and Mert. And Durnan kind of looks this over and gets a kind of a solemn look on his face and says, "Oh, this is a very foul creature. It is known as a lucrata. We don't hear too many of them here in the civilized areas of the world. They are a spawn of the demon Yinogu. They are kind of related to gnolls in some kind of foul way. Usually gnolls often kind of use them for entertainment these days, the few that are left, since they can mimic the sounds of other creatures and are even intelligent enough to mimic voices and speech. Sometimes they like to torment them for entertainment, since they can let out the cries and squeals of victims, which gnolls find amusing in some sick, twisted way. But they're very cruel. I mean, gnolls, of course, are as well, but lucratas in particular are deceivers and cruel, killing creatures. Often much smarter and tougher than your average gnoll, of course, but they are highly outnumbered by your regular run-of-the-mill gnolls and usually end up in kind of entertainment servitude. In a kind of a similar way as you may have seen with a bear or other similar creatures for entertainment, like a dancing bear. They kind of treat these foul beasts in this way. Strange that there was one in Waterdeep, though. Very strange.
This is not the first indications of the workings of Inogu we have found in and around Waterdeep, Durnan. I'll tell him about the cult shit that we took care of in Undercliff.
Okay. So Durnan kind of thinks a bit about this and says, that is indeed interesting. Although it is strange to me, at least, that this, this cult of Yinogu seems to be doing, business in and around Waterdeep. They aren't really usually the type to work in, kind of urban areas of the realm. I mean, usually gnolls and their ilk, tend to strike out, out in the middle of nowhere, the small towns, the defenseless, run them through and pillage, that sort of thing. Usually they aren't particularly intelligent enough to do any kind of city workings. Perhaps there is, dealings of some kind with another branch of the demons that are involved as well. It's difficult to say, of course, with the limited information you have so far, but I wonder if there's more than meets the eye here.
Yes, it would seem that it's not just the gnoll folk that are in league with the demon.
Dark omens indeed. Well, I'm glad that we have you here, at least. It seems that, although you're getting involved in many possibly dark and powerful things, it seems you're doing a decent job of it, keeping the people of Waterdeep safe, and I thank you for that. I thank you for the service you do. My adventuring days are long past for me. I still do what I can to serve the city and protect. I've still got some fight. Don't forget that. I'm definitely not a weak old man, that's for sure. But it's always nice to have a up-and-coming band such as yourself.
Gold is better than words.
Ah, yes, indeed. Isn't that right, Mert? And Mert kind of laughs and says, "Ha! Yes, gold indeed. That does remind me, though. I do have a reward for you. The old woman from the bookstore there, she had a somewhat more valuable book that she gave to me as thanks for your service, which I'd like to pass over to you now." And Mert kind of reaches into his knapsack here and pulls out a spell book and slaps it down on the bar here in front of you, Boo, and says, "Well, I hope that the contents of this book do some good for you here." And let me get that information for you. 1 second. Oops, where did that go? There it is. Alright, so there should be a spellbook in the party sheet now. And in this spellbook, as you look it over, Boo, you see it seems to be a spellbook of a variety of first and second level wizard spells. You see the spells for Alarm, Shield, Unseen Servant, Rope Trick, Gust of Wind, and Continual Flame, all recorded in this tome.
I like it. Thank you, Mert. I will make good use of this.
Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, as a thank you for your assistance in this matter, I am happy to let you know that I will spread the good word of you to the Harpers. Let them know that you are reliable. They may reach out to you in the future for further endeavors. And of course, if they do, they will reach out through me, so I will visit you up at the manor if something else comes up. But the Harpers thank you for your good service.
Well, where can I find more books on alchemy? And Mick says this like kind of sinister like.
Well, I mean, there is let me see here. 1 second. Let me see here.
I've got 3 spell books. I need a lot of cash to sit down and
Yeah.
put them all into one so that I don't have to carry a bunch of fucking books around.
Basically, Mix is wanting to learn alchemy on the level of making giant bombs and roofies. Roofies so he can roofie everybody and giant bombs.
So there is the there's a temple in the castle ward called the Font of Knowledge. It is a temple of let me see here. It's a temple to Ogma, but they may have they have quite a repository of knowledge there. It's tended to by the clergy, and they may be able to provide more wisdom in that manner, perhaps.
Mix is gonna say thank you and just start storming off towards that direction. He doesn't care about anybody else. He's kind of a selfish bastard.
What are the rest of you up to?
Jinku needs a nap.
Blossom is wanting to get the children on an exercise regimen. They weak. They need to exercise. Otherwise, they can't disembowel people.
All right. And so, just to let you know where that's at, so the Font of Knowledge, the Temple to Ogma, which is the largest public library of sorts in the cities, it's actually kind of right up next to Blackstaff Tower, where you guys were the other day when you met with Vajra. So, kind of right up near the big market in the city. So the rest of you all, do you all kind of head back to the manor to kind of rest up, get Jinku some heals, Jinku and Blossom both?
What Blossom didn't take any damage.
He took a little... Oh wait, no, that's... No, he looks like he took a little bit. Not a lot. Jinku was definitely the worst for wear out of you all. That's for sure.
Yeah, Jinko needs nap.
Jinku needs a very long nap.
I recommend the window cell. Very comfy.
Find a nice sunny spot.
Yes, sunny spots.
Jinku's not picky. She can sleep anywhere.
Did Mix get beds for everybody at the manor? I mean, everybody should have like a place to sleep.
Yeah, you guys do all have places to sleep, like actual beds at the manor.
Mix is basically on a rampage looking for more information and wanting to experiment. Basically, if it goes wrong, there's going to be a giant bomb in the basement.
Alright. Let's see. Let me do a rest on you all. 1 second here. There we go. Let's see. So, if you're going to this font of knowledge place, let me get some info up here. 1 second. So you head up to this uh, location, and you find yourself, outside this temple to Ogma. And stepping inside here, you see that it is a pretty decently sized library. Although most of like the first floor, at least, and all the shelves that are down here are open to the public, it seems. And there's a variety of various citizens of Waterdeep milling about, as well as scribes and priests to Ogma in here. But it seems like the stairs that go up to like the second and third floors, at least, are blocked off. Perhaps something that only the clergy that are of the temple can go to. Otherwise, the first floor is all open.
Nix is going to find an acolyte or something and be like, I want books on higher alchemy. I'm willing to pay.
So the acolyte kind of looks you over here. It says, "Ah, higher alchemy. I see. What manner of alchemical concoctions are you looking to do? It's not all of them may be accessible to the public, and the ones that are not, I'm afraid, they are not for sale. They require devotion to Ogma and to his." As a member of the clergy to get access to those. But pray tell, what is it you are looking into, sir?
Bombs. Bombs and rupees.
This acolyte seems kind of taken aback by this and says, well, I'm afraid I can't imagine what you would be wanting to use such things for here in our fair city, but I'm afraid that kind of knowledge isn't something that we have available to the public here on the first level.
Well, I'm not devoting anything to any gods, so goodbye. And he heads to the bookstore by his home on Joel Skull.
Okay. So you head inside. Rashal's there, like usual, doing her usual. She's currently actually sitting in kind of like a small chair against the wall. It's kind of nestled between a couple of bookshelves. Seems to be kind of looking over. It looks to be kind of like a historical tome of some sort.
I thought it was a male dragonborn around this place.
Oh wait, maybe I have it wrong.
Anyway,
Sorry, yes, Rashal is male. My apologies. Yep.
I want higher alchemy books. What do you have available?
Rashal kind of looks you up and down as you walk in the shop, and she says, "Oh," he says, "Oh, yes, of course. Although I'm afraid, weren't you in here the other day asking about such books as well? I'm afraid I still don't have any here at my shop. Those aren't the sort of tomes I usually deal in, I'm afraid."
Yeah, I'll take anything you have on alchemy. I want to improve my skills.
Well, the ones that I do have, I believe I already sold to you. There were some basic tomes on alchemy that you purchased the last time that you were here. I believe I have them in my ledger. Do you still have those?
Yes, I do still have those.
Ah, well, those would probably be the best bet for improving alchemy skills that I would have around. I would consult those.
Also, I want to purchase any educational books you have for children. Basically, toddlers to adults. I need to purchase every book you have to educate children.
On any particular topic? I mean, I know there were some school books purchased here as well a few times ago. I can't remember if it was you or one of your compatriots from the manor, but somebody purchased some books for children's education.
Yes, they purchased some, but I need higher mathematics, philosophy, the histories, and tomes on fighting, magic, and defense. We didn't purchase those. Should be rather expensive, so I'm willing to pay.
They certainly seem to be learning quickly, if they've progressed that far in just a few weeks, but let me see what I can do. So Vishal kind of looks around. Thanks, quick. The kitties will get their pets, don't worry. So Vishal goes off and kind of looks around at some of the various shelves in his shop. Also kind of disappears into the back for a while, kind of looking around at things. Let's see. One second here. And he eventually returns with a small stack of books, various sizes, about, like you said, about philosophy and histories and mathematics and other kind of educational topics of sorts, and sets them down on the front desk here. It says, well, I think across all of these, maybe... Yeah, this philosophy one is out of print, at least. Not too many of these anymore. We'll say 20 gold pieces for the stack. It's about 7 different books, it looks like.
Nick pays it. He wants to educate children and to read and learn more. So Nick's is like a hunger for knowledge. He happily pays us.
Okay, go ahead and take the 20 out of your inventory there, and he pushes the stack of books across the, or he pushes the stack of books across the counter to you here, and
Mix will bow and say thank you, and take the books and leave the shop.
All right. So Mix comes back. You guys all have a good night's rest there at the shop. Starting to get a little library of educational books on one of the shelves on the first floor against the wall for the children. And you wake up in the morning, and so you do still have this other calling from the Grey Force as well that weighs on your mind. But other than that, you don't seem to have any other leads at the moment. There are various of these other repair guilds that are kind of stopping by the manor from time to time, continuing to do various work on the brickwork around the fireplace and other metal works on the banisters and exterior, and the other things that you had commissioned. It seems there is still some left to go, maybe another day or so worth, and then it'll be pretty spick and span, it seems.
Each evening, before resting.
Yeah.
Going forward, I will spend my remaining level 2 spell slots to light our lanterns in the bar room and all common areas with continual flame, so that we don't have to pay for oil.
Ooh, very nice.
But it'll take a few days. I just wanted to say I'm doing that going forward.
Each evening before bed, I'm making the kids do 10 laps around the estate, 25 push-ups, and 25 sit-ups.
Can I participate? I think I'm probably pretty weak.
And
Yes, you can participate.
Every morning, Mix takes the children and he grills them on studies, teaching them alchemy and mathematics, histories, everything that he has books on. He teaches them.
All right. The children aren't quite as receptive to the more in-depth stuff, but they seem at least somewhat interested. Maybe I would say probably Nat, out of all of them, probably takes more of a shine to some of the more complex things that you've gotten into so far, but Jenks and Squidly both seem a little bit more interested in the running around and physical exertion stuff that Blossom seems to be doing. But, they still try to learn as best they can.
If you children will take more interest in the books, I'll buy you treats. Maybe pastries, sweets of some sort. You need to take an interest in higher education. I will reward you if you try hard.
Children, as you can see by me, some of us could demonstrate that studies do pay off. Taking a shortcut can result in you making pacts with demons or things that you don't understand in exchange for false power. But if you study hard, like this one here, which one was studying good? Nat, you said?
Nat was,
Yeah, if you study hard like Nat, you can achieve power unimaginable, even immortality, if you're willing to make sacrifices.
What kind of sacrifices? Like a sheep?
Well, I haven't quite figured out the right sacrifice needed for immortality. I'm working on it, though. You guys are more than welcome to study with me when I do.
Children, do not be deceived. They're always studying. They never stop learning. The best way to achieve immortality is to be able to disavow your opponent on the first strike. And that is why you must become stronger.
At this, Squidly kind of raises his fist and goes, "Yeah!"
He does have a bit of a point for those of you that can't focus as much as I or Chinku or Blossom or Mix.
All right. You guys get up to anything else here aside from?
I need to go to the store, I think. Yeah. I need rope.
Okay, just like some general rope stuff.
Yep.
Mix should suggest to the party that we start getting alcohol in and start having customers. So someone needs to go and negotiate for the booze.
Well, if we're going to start serving alcohol, we need to get the kitchen up and running, too. We need more orphans.
We should probably build better living quarters if we want to start collecting children.
We only have 3. That is not enough to cook, serve, and pour drinks.
3 is more than enough.
Yeah, we're more than capable of pouring drinks too, Blossom.
So, Blossom,
We have adventures to do.
Blossom,
They
as you're
can't run the bar without us.
talking about, serving up drinks, you hear, because I assume you guys are all just kind of like sitting around like a table or some tables here in like the common room of the bar or something like that. Okay. So as you all are sitting here, hold on, let me find some stuff here. So as you're sitting here, you kind of hear a faint kind of clink from behind you, and you see that it's like you do have like some, like a few bottles of alcohol around, and you see that one of the bottles that was sitting on like one of the shelves behind the bar, kind of lifts up on its own accord and kind of floats a bit in the air, and then kind of moves towards the bar and kind of hovers over the bar here. And a moment later, the glass, you see a glass from underneath the bar kind of raise up and float in the air and kind of set down onto the bar itself, and this liquor begins pouring into this glass, and you see a couple other bottles also at the same time start kind of moving off the shelves, and a few of them are kind of pouring into this glass as well, and it seems to be kind of mixing itself here on the bar, and eventually the glass kind of slides forward a little bit across the bar, and when you look at it, somehow like it seems to have this perfect separation inside the glass. Like it doesn't even make any sense physics wise how this has happened, but this drink seems to have half liquor of some kind on one side and ale on the other side, or sorry, not on the sides, on top of each other. There's the liquor's on the bottom and the ale's on the top, and they're perfectly separated, almost like what you would see if you like tried to mix oil and water. Like you have just like the water and the oil right on top of each other, but it's like this with the ale and the liquor. And you're not quite sure how, but this drink kind of slides across the bar towards you all.
Hey, looks like our ghost is a good bartender.
You see like one of the bottles that is still kind of floating in midair kind of move up and down.
This is very cool, but Mr. Ghost, I do seriously worry that this would scare off more of the superstitious patrons, which would hurt revenue.
What if we cover him with a blanket, maybe?
I'm loving this. Keep doing it.
I don't know. I feel like there would be people that would want to come just for the ghost bartender.
It'd be our gimmick. What makes us special?
Yeah, nowhere else has a ghost bartender.
Exactly. Jinku's gonna reach forward and grab the drink and down it.
Okay. So you down this drink, and it is excellent. Like the flavors, like and again, and it's a very interesting sensation because, like I said, it's like somehow achieved this strange separation perfectly between this ale and this liquor, and so you get like a the hits of both of them as you down this, because it's a pretty small drink. It's not a shot, but it's still like a pretty small drink.
Like a tumbler?
Yeah, like a tumbler, we'll say. Yeah, something like that. But it is delicious, from what you could tell. And like as the two flavors hit you and you swallow them, you get the notes of both, and then it kind of hits you really nice afterwards, and you're feeling a little some kind of happy tingles from the buzz. And you see, as you kind of set this back down on the bar, you kind of see some kind of tracing in the kind of, maybe some of the, like the light dust and particulate that is around just from the various work that has been happening in here, and you see it spells out the liff.
Okay, bartender. Okay, ghost guy. Pick up a bottle if that's the name of the drink.
You see the bottle that was on the bar kind of raise up a little bit. I mean, at least from what you can tell, especially just because of the way that the liquor's kind of or the liquor and the ale kind of separated, you feel like the name of this drink is kind of a pun of sorts. Because I mean, you do know that the poltergeist name is Liff, from a while ago. So it seems that this is kind of a pun on this being the lift, since the ale is lifted above the liquor somehow. But it seems to have been, perhaps a namesake of his.
Well, I don't really care what it's called. It's delicious.
And it seems, Jinku, roll an insight check for me, as you're kind of enjoying the hits from this. Okay. Jinku, you kind of see, I mean, there's nothing really to see aside from the bottles that kind of occasionally move over there, but you get kind of a pleased and maybe kind of a relieved vibe from the direction of wherever this poltergeist might be. It seems that the work that you all have been doing to this manor to kind of bring it back to some of its former glory here has brought some comfort to this ghost, the former owner of this place, and he's more than happy to lend a hand.
Okay. So if we have a ghost bartender as a gimmick, and that doesn't scare people off, then that'll give us an extra orphan to put in the kitchen to make sure food production is satisfactory.
I don't think we need any more orphans.
I mean, the tavern itself is just like the one floor here, so it's not like it's a particularly heavy staffing needs, at least, for now. I mean, as it stands, you aren't really
Of course,
sure.
we need more orphans.
The more orphans we have, the more mouths we have to feed.
We already have the 5 of us. What do you expect to be doing?
We need orphans to run this place while we're adventuring. We need orphans on the street to be gathering intelligence for us. And we need orphans on the street ripping off people and supplying the profits back to us.
Max is just gonna look at Blossom and walk out and go, and he's just basically going to buy a bunch of herbs.
Except we didn't take
Everything
in
that's
these
required
orphans.
is-
to
How
use
are
them as
herbs going to get us
slaves.
more orphans?
Mix doesn't give a shit. He's just leaving.
I mean, I thought this was the whole place of the point of this place was an orphan empire
No.
gaining us profits.
God.
Perhaps I do not disagree with you, Blossom, but maybe we start with the 3 orphans we have.
I
And
mean, I'm just saying, from my point of view, this is how the world works. I was sold off as a kid to bring profits to someone else. Like, this is how the world works to me.
yes, I fully agree that as we need more help, we should seek to attract those who need help and the ability to provide help. So,
And besides,
employing
we're
orphans is a
taking
good
them
idea.
off the streets, giving them a place to sleep, giving them food, education, workouts.
I completely agree. I do share Zyara's concern about. I think we should make sure we have enough money to feed all of us and these 3 orphans we have, and then like when we're making a profit, then we go get more orphans and extend our charity and / training to them. And I just want to ensure we're making money from this too. We don't want to get so many orphans that we can't afford to feed them. But I'm happy to spend a large portion of my share of the profits purchasing orphans and orphan materials if we need to do so.
Whoa. The mayor already said we can have as much orphans as we want. We do not need to spend money on orphans.
But
Yes, I mean, we may need like a marketing campaign for our new orphanage or something like that, you know.
What? No, we don't. We have orphans. They can just go get us other orphans.
It's not like a group. They don't know all the orphans.
There is not an orphan guild. So
Maybe there
Yeah,
should be.
Yeah, we're trying to make one. I mean, that's what we're doing.
No, like, I know there's not, but they obviously know other orphans, and those other orphans know other orphans.
except the
It's
more
a chain.
children that we take in, the more children we have to feed, the more children we have to buy clothes for, and the more children we have to house.
well, you guys are in, the largest city in Fair, and there are a number of already trained adults with their own homes that deal with their own problems and their own food and would just work there that are more than available. I am
That's
sure.
what I'm trying to say. We don't need
But
to hire
orphans-
orphans.
Charitable.
But orphans work for free
No, they don't.
because we're giving them food and shelter. That's their payment. Food, shelter, education,
But we
training.
So,
we didn't
which
take
would
in
be
these
cheaper?
orphans to use them as
Does
slaves. We
anybody
took
have
them
a
in
roofie left
because
that
they
can
needed a
feed
place.
Blossom?
I don't understand why we're getting caught up on the orphans. There are
We
bigger
don't need
things at
orphans.
work here.
Blossom's an idiot.
When
Did
we
you
have
not pay
an
attention to
army
the cult
of orphans,
or the giant monster
the
we
city
just killed?
will be ours. We will not pay guilds. Guilds will pay us.
Oh,
There
my
are more
God.
Wow.
important things than making a profit.
no,
Do you not see everything that is happening in this city?
This is why we go on adventures and leave orphans to run our establishment.
All right.
We can't have an establishment and run the establishment and go on adventures and save the city. It doesn't work like that. We need someone to run the establishment, and that is orphans, who we don't have to pay.
Or we hire responsible people that actually know how to do this.
No. That's the problem right there. You said hire. That means we have to pay them. We don't have to pay the
You
orphans.
seem to think
But
that
if we have people who know what they're doing,
you seem to
Yeah,
think
we'll pay
that
them,
we
but they'll
wouldn't
make us a
spend any
profit.
money on these orphans, but the cost to feed them and clothe them and house them would be the same as hiring someone else.
If not more.
No.
But again,
No. Okay, but
we're
clothing.
not even open.
Clothing?
So why are we arguing about this when there are bigger things to deal with?
Okay,
True.
clothing is not a big expense option.
You
Okay,
say that only
feeding
because
them,
you don't wear
feeding
any.
them. Honestly, feeding them isn't going to take much. Okay, they're orphans. They've been starving for literally all of their lives.
So
They're
you're
gonna
gonna
fill up on a
continue to
biscuit.
starve them?
No, I'm just saying it doesn't take much to feed them because they fill up on like a biscuit.
I'm
Until
sorry,
they get bigger.
Blossoms, but just because you had a terrible childhood enslaved in the
That-
Colosseum doesn't mean that we
and
have to
This
enslave
awesome
other
ghost
children.
bartender that likes what we're doing, obviously likes this idea of us giving a place to orphans. So you guys want to make a profit on that?
We don't know that the ghost likes that
He
part.
likes the fact that we're taking care of these specific 3 orphans.
So, as you do mention,
You're saying there's a difference between orphans?
as you do mention the cool ghost bartender approving of an orphan empire in his shop, the bottle that was in the air drops to the floor and breaks. So it doesn't seem like he may fully approve of all of this. But that being said, that's probably a good place to stop for the moment with this heated discussion on orphans.
I was gonna say, Nick's is across the street buying massive amounts of herbs. Maybe you should drug Blossom.
For once, Mix is the character that the party isn't upset at.
Yeah, right?
All
I
right.
know. I'm loving it.
All right.
Usually you guys hate me. Now you're hating Blossom. I'm loving it.
You guys.
Blossom's gonna take off his cloak in disgust and nakedly storm off to his windowsill to take a nap.
All right. Well, we will call that good for now, ending on the heated orphan problem discussion. So, we'll see you all next time.